This session is dedicated to talking about crocodilians. We have 3 species of crocodilians in India: the magar or the freshwater crocodile, the saltwater crocodile and the gharial. So out of the true crocodiles, we have the magar and the saltwater crocodile. This is approximately 1.5-year-old saltwater crocodile hatchling. It's in this pond here, and we'll roughly go through the different parts of the body of this crocodilian, and then we'll do a little bit of morphometrics. So we'll start with this, and here you will see the nostrils, and that actually tells you the respiration rate of the crocodile, and they are quite good at holding their breath, which is why they can stay underwater for very long. They also have a very sophisticated heart system, and they have a functionally divided ventricle. So this is a reptile that has a functional 4-chambered heart with a foramen, a hole in the heart, which is called the foramen of Peniza, and that allows them to dive underwater and stay underwater for so long. So what we've done here is we captured this crocodilian in the water. It's a young animal. It comes out to bask a little more than usual. So this animal was outside, and we were able to catch it, and we have secured its mouth with rubber bands so that the animal is also safe, and we are safe during this procedure. And we've covered its eyes with a cloth, and we're putting gentle pressure so that it doesn't move, and this sort of sends a message to the brain about a sense of security, and therefore you will see that with minimal restraint it's lying down here. We're not pushing, we're not pressing anything, and it's still lying down. After this we will come to these are called the nuchal scutes. Here there is a specific arrangement and a pattern of these scutes, and this helps us identify species. So it tells us what species it is based on the presence or absence of these scutes and the specific arrangement. When you look at the back of this animal, you will see these raised edges, and these are called osteoderms. So basically they are bony plates which are very, very porous. They have a lot of holes in them and a significant amount of blood circulation that goes through this. So these are the solar panels of the crocodilian's body. They help absorb the heat and also release heat when it's trying to thermoregulate. So thermoregulation can happen when its back is exposed, and the other part of the body is underwater, or it's fully outside, or even when partially just this is exposed to the sun. Thermoregulation is very important because it regulates all the physiological processes of the body. It helps with digestion, it helps with the blood flow, it helps in the development of muscles, it helps the animal grow. So everything in this animal system is based on temperature. One of the things we have to do is remember that when we are handling this animal, we have to do it quickly, efficiently, because they get acid buildup in the muscle, so I don't want to stress it out for very long. This is the tail. This is the second, these are the double rows of scutes and a single row of scutes, and we are going to mark this animal with the double and single row of scutes so that this animal will get a permanent identification for the rest of its life. So the minute the pressure is released, the animal becomes more active. I'm just going to quickly show you this. This is the belly scales. There are no osteoderms on the belly, so it's much softer. And so we're going to do measurements so for monitoring growth of the animal, how much it's feeding, enclosure size. So age is not a criterion here. We generally classify them as juvenile, subadults, adults, hatchlings, so on. But we like to keep a track of how much they're growing. It tells us how efficiently we are being able to manage them. So the first measurement we take is here, tip of the snout. Now remove your hand, Dr. Nandini, and then put it over this thing. So the thing has to be absolutely straight. So you take something called as the snout vent length. Yeah, so vent is here. I can feel it with my finger down at the bottom. and I take it to the edge of the vent, which is right here. Right? So the snout vent length is 41 centimeters. Then vent to tail, to tip of the tail. So it has to be absolutely straight. And then you take it to the very tip. 87. But 87 is total length, right? So how much is snout vent length, vent to tail length?
46.
Okay. So you've got that. Now why do we do this? You can let go. Why do we do this is so that when, especially in saltwater crocodiles that have a reputation of being aggressive, they tend to fight if there are too many animals in the enclosure, and sometimes then the tip of the tail is broken or whatever, you still have your basic measurements that help you assess the animal. So when you do sexing, the only way to accurately tell male and female is after the animal is 1.2 meters long. This is too small to tell, but you will use your finger and you probe here in the vent, and if there is, you will generally feel a penile projection in a male, and if it's not there, it's a female. Right now this animal is too young for us, but I can demonstrate it anyway. You hold like this, please. Yeah. So here you will have to open this and then check if there is any. I don't think so. Maybe, so that it's very young, so there is no way to tell with any degree of confidence. No. So here what you are seeing is, this is the musk gland, है ना?
Okay.
It's not, there are two on either side, very like in mammals. So when they are passing stools or they are producing musk, see these are the musk glands, scent glands. It's not anything else, है ना? So we will not be able to tell with any degree of confidence about whether this is a male or a female. We'll flip this around again. Well done. And now what we're going to do is, we will mark this animal in two ways, one with a PIT tag and once with a scute clip. A scute clip is a permanent marking. The scute will grow back, but it will be, it will never grow back to normal, है ना? These are the marking first I'm going to do is by scute clipping. So this is the hundreds, this is units, and this is tens. So you do a permutation combination generally, and you will be able to mark at least 999 animals. There are other methods where you do 1, 2, 4, 7 or 10, 20, 40, 70 and 100, 200, 400, 700. I will demonstrate these markings on a whiteboard later, because right now I can't do it on a live animal. But when we do the marking, it gives you an ability to mark an animal in a population, whether it's in a captive facility, a research study or whatever, as long as you accurately note the method of marking that you are using. Right now I'm just going to mark 200, because whether you start using this system, this is the first animal that's being marked, so whether you start this system, that system, whichever you decide to use, this will stay as standard. So 100, 200, 400, 700 is one system, and 100, 200, 300, 400, so on is another system. So what we'll do is, this we'll mark as 200. I'm going to clip this scute. And it's done. Careful, it's sharp.
Keep it.
If you do it quickly and efficiently, there's no bleeding. All this is just my betadine. There's absolutely no blood here, you can check. Yeah. So you do it quickly, you use the correct equipment, you use the right tool, and you're fine. So this is the pit tag applicator. There is a little rice grain like thing inside here. It's called a PIT tag and it looks rather formidable. But what I do is, where the tail starts, I apply it here in between the first 3 scutes. It's a subcutaneous application. ये छोड़ दीजिए. So I will and here's the mark. This animal is now permanently marked.
Okay. Great. 715. Just maybe explain about it, no?
So, yeah, I have already done that. So anyway, so what happens here is, earlier they used to mark. So what I did is, the PIT tag that was here was pushed under the skin and placed here, and the location you can tell by just reading, and it gives you a reading which is a unique 15-digit alphanumeric code. Now, the reason to do it here is, earlier they did it in the left hind limb. As you can see, this is a very, it's a very aquatic animal. So it uses this part of the body to swim, if you've seen anything. So there is a lot of movement of the legs, and there is a lot of chances of migration of the PIT tag when it is done in the leg. So the newer system is to do it in this part of the tail, where there is not enough movement, so the chances of migration are fewer. So in this area, if you read it, you will find it, and I'm hoping that there is no migration of this. So we're done with this. We're quickly going to do weight of this animal. Ideally what happens is, we don't do weights on this. It's a standard weighing scale. It's not a standard method of using the weighing machine because it's likely to move. So you have to do a weight for me quickly. Okay. Ideally you use something called as a Pisola weighing scale, where it's a sling and you sling the animal and do it. But since we don't have that, we're going to do this because we're doing all the morphometrics that we can on the animal today. No. Quickly read.
1.5.
Okay, so we have 1.5 kilograms, and now we're set to release this animal back. So we've done all the procedures, we've got the weight, we've marked the animal with the scute clip, and what we will now do is, come on baby, there we go. And because of the fact that we've been, see there, it opens the eye and you see this beautiful third eyelid. That's the nictitating membrane that goes across the eyelid. No, doesn't work. There. See?
Yeah.
That's the protection of the eye, and when it swims under water, it protects it from the debris that is there inside the water. And it has very sharp teeth. These are the teeth. And generally, if the teeth are, so you look at the teeth carefully, you see they're nice and white and pearly. If the teeth become translucent, there are people that believe that it was a sign of stress on the animal. And we've already looked at the nostrils. And that is when they open and close, is when you will identify respiration. So when you're removing, it's easier because there's a little gap there, so you just have to watch for the teeth and then you can remove it. And it's always in reverse order. So the person who is handling, आपको हमेशा ध्यान रखना है. तो अभी ये लास्ट रबर बैंड है जो बाहर आ रहा है. इसके बाद अलर्ट आप उसको नीचे रखो, आप सब दूर जाओ, दूर नीचे रखो, छोड़ो, पीछे आ जाओ, छोड़ो, पीछे आओ, वेरी गुड, बस, that's enough. There we go. And this is a very common reaction to any situation that has caused a thermoregulatory imbalance, if you like. So basically what you see on the bottom jaw there is her tongue. So they don't have a mobile tongue like we do. The tongue is attached to the bottom jaw, and at the very back you will see this horizontal line. It's a palate. So that's the palatine valve, and that basically seals the mouth. So if when they are in the water and they're trying to grab the prey, the palatine valve seals that area shut. So when they're grabbing the prey, no water goes inside. But when they have to swallow, the palatine valve has to open. So that is when they will actually come out of the water, grab the prey and swallow. So this palatine valve is basically the seal that prevents the water from going into the lung. There is a large amount of circulation in the tongue also. So when you see the tongue there's a lot of circulation, there's a lot of blood flow, and when they sit with their mouth open, it basically allows for dissipation of heat from the tongue, and that is how they thermoregulate. So it's interesting that they have this kind of adaptation, and it's such a beautiful, gorgeous animal. See the coloration and everything, it's quite phenomenal. So it's good to get a view of this.